Welcome to Marketing Edge on TV, Nigeria's leading initiative in the business of brand management and in the management of brand business. It is a 30-minute awesome package that comprises brand news, branding focus, and industry conversation, all in a mix encompassing thorough and in-depth analysis aimed at promoting the brand idea. I am Oluwabukola Omoni.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
First on Marketing Edge on TV is Brand News, where we bring you the latest development around brands and in the field of marketing, advertising and communications in Nigeria and around the world. Now on Brand News.
We prayer to unveil the Marketing Edge 30th anniversary logo.
It was a thrilling and historical moment when the nation's first setter in brand journalism, Marketing Edge, in commemoration of its 20 years of operations in the competitive Nigerian media market, unveiled its 20th anniversary logo in grand style. The publisher chief executive officer of Marketing Edge Group, Mr. John Ajayi, says the avant-garde media platform, which has consistently set new benchmarks in the industry, is doing this to consolidate its position as the authoritative source of news, events, and happenings in the IMC sector, reaffirming its commitment in promoting the brand idea.
We have constantly engaged ourselves in business disruptions because we also know that allowing others to disrupt our business for us will be inimical. It will be counterproductive. And having realized that, we chose to constantly disrupt our sector so that we can always be on top of our game. That is why we have come up with different innovations and ideations that continue to resonate, across industries. First of this was the award, and again, the National Marketing Summit. In my field, I know.
Mr. Ajayi, during the unveiling at a press conference held at the corporate headquarters in Ikeja, went down memory lane to recall the blistered journey of the media platform, which today has become a success story.
First day when we set out, not many people gave us the benefit of survival. We know so many competitors, friends, who will mock us to our face that if you can do this for 6 months, that means you will survive. But again, here we are. We give God the glory. In these last 20 years, it has not been all sweet. It has not been all roses. But let me also say it has not been all hell. It has been 20 years of trials, triumphs, and tribulations.
The epochal event is scheduled to hold on the 15th and 16th of September 2023 at the Podium Event Center, Lekki, Lagos. The Media Independent Practitioners Association of Nigeria, MIPAN, has held its annual general meeting themed Key Enabler to Running Healthy and Profitable Agency Business, and has also inducted 5 new members into its fold. Femi Adelusi, the president of MIPAN, while delivering his opening remarks, points out that the essence of the theme is to identify some of the challenges facing businesses and agencies amid economic and inflation crisis.
So our industry remains a very endangered industry. And we need to continue to look at how we can evolve and add value to the business of our clients. We must remember that they are the goose that lay the golden egg, and we must continue to be consultants and bring thought leadership into how we help their businesses to grow.
So it's important for businesses to constantly ask themselves, what is the vision behind my agency work? If you focus only on buying media for your client and making sure that you focus on your profitability, you may be short-termed and you may be short-sighted. And then you have many businesses that have been here before that are not here anymore, principally because they did not focus on the right things.
We are in a very precarious, space of business, as it were. When you hear agency, you know that the key speaker was talking as if agencies exist for the brands they work for, but we are also a set of business. So we must be able to know from experts on how to navigate to be able to not only survive but keep the business sustainably.
As business owners, as people who are running, businesses and agencies, you'll find that the margins are shrinking. We all know how the economy is right now. So the theme is very apt in the sense that the lessons and the people who have come here to speak, the guest speaker and all the panelists, the lessons that have been learned is such that we expect, we anticipate, that the business leaders and practitioners who have attended this event will take those keen insights, nuggets, and then we'll go back and see how they implement it on their businesses.
But some things really struck out, not because they're not conversations that we've had before, but increasingly it's becoming more important than ever before, and that's the way we position ourselves as agency, even the word agency as it were, and being relevant in time. So when we understand that my competition is not the next media agency, but people that are seen as consultants, people that are seen as subject matter experts, people that can provide solutions to business challenges, and being able to have C-suite conversations beyond the reach and frequency that we speak. More than ever before, this is a time, and we need to reinvent the wheel, otherwise we die.
Leading pan-Nigerian network, Globacom, has marked 20 years of blazing a trail on Nigeria's telecommunications landscape while revolutionizing various sectors in Nigeria and across Africa. Glo, no doubt, has set many firsts, as it will be recalled that when other networks before Globacom said it was almost impossible to have per second billing in voice calls and that it would take about 10 years to achieve that in Nigeria, Glo broke the jinx and started per second billing from day one. Glo also crashed the price of SIM cards without looking back. With over 61 million subscribers currently, Globacom has remained committed to providing its customers with world-class communications and digital services through constant deployment of latest technologies in line with the corporate promise to build a robust, fully integrated ICT network infrastructure that would consistently deliver value to its esteemed customers. That was brand news. Next is Brand in Focus after this break.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
Now on Brand in Focus. In today's marketing landscape, video storytelling is a powerful way to connect with audiences and build brand resonance by using visuals and narrative to evoke emotions, stimulate curiosity, and provoke thoughts. Brands can create videos that are memorable and shareable. Effective video storytelling starts with a strong understanding of the audience. What are their needs and wants? What are their pain points? Once you understand your audience, you can start to craft a narrative that resonates with them. The narrative should be clear, concise, and engaging. It should have a beginning, middle, and end, and ultimately build a satisfying conclusion. The visuals should also be carefully chosen to complement the narrative. The colors, imagery, and cinematography should all work together to create a cohesive and impactful experience. When done well, video storytelling can be a powerful tool for marketing. It can help you build relationships with customers, boost brand awareness, and drive sales. This sensory vision imbues video with a level of impact that resonates deeply with viewers, making them more likely to remember and share the experience. By using visuals and narrative to connect with your audience on an emotional level, you can create videos that are memorable and shareable. Transforming marketing messages into cohesive narratives, brands can cut through the clutter and capture the fleeting attention of their audience. A well-told story captures attention, sustains interest, and guides viewers through a journey that leaves a lasting impression. It enables brands to present information in a format that is not just consumable, but also memorable. The allure of storytelling in video marketing extends beyond engagement. It lays the foundation for brand loyalty and advocacy. When consumers connect emotionally with a brand's narrative, they become more than customers. They become enthusiasts and advocates. By evoking emotions aligned with positive experiences, brands foster a sense of attachment that transcends transactional relationship, thereby cultivating lasting loyalty. The power of visual storytelling transcends traditional marketing approaches, allowing brands to build meaningful connections and foster loyalty amongst their audience. That was Branding Focus. Next is Industry Conversation, where we have discussions with industry thought leaders who have distinguished themselves in the business of brand management and in the management of brand business. Today we're going to be having the concluding part of our conversation with Mr. Okusaga just after this break.
Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the bright idea.
If you're talking about cost, how do you think professionals and clients are handling the issue of a pitch fee in securing new businesses?
Well, some of those things are regulatory. They've introduced regulatory dimensions to those things.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit careful trying to mediate in that stream. But I would rather caution that we err on the side of, caution.
Okay.
How far do we want to go by setting rules for buyer and seller in an economy that is supposed to be liberal? Okay. So it's supposed to be by collective bargaining, and not that I say you must pay X pitch fees as opposed to Y pitch fees. Then we are beginning to set tighter rules. So what we would have is an overregulated market and not a free market economy. So I think we need to strike a balance there. Okay. I would say no more.
Okay, great. So talking about setting a balance, how would you compare modern PR and how PR is done 5 to 10 years ago?
Is there modern PR? PR is PR. It's just the way the tools now that enable it that is different. PR just speaks to managing stakeholder expectation, being able to push through information, that aligns with the sentiments of certain stakeholders as opposed to others, and being able to then begin to project the silent or what you call the latent strengths you have and make them manifest. It hasn't changed. Principles are not changing. It is the practice that has changed. So peradventure, some 10 years ago, social media is not what it is today. It was there 10 years ago. Today, we find that a whole lot of the things that are happening in the real world have been transmuted very successfully into the virtual world. And therefore, the virtual world is a replica of the real world, right? And we find that possibilities keep expanding within the virtual space, whilst possibilities keep shrinking as a result of economic consequences on the real, in the real world. So, for instance, how many newspapers actually existed in Nigeria 10 years ago? How many exist today? A lot of them have been pushed by economic realities online. So the online keeps getting bigger and bigger, and the offline side of things keeps shrinking. That has had an implication on the practice. So if you are practicing PR under this current context, and you cannot speak the language of the blogosphere, then you probably are lost in time. You need to go back to the Stone Age. And you don't understand the power of algorithms and Google robots in the way agenda is set. Because now it's not about institutional gatekeeping anymore, it's not about machine gatekeeping. So if Google wants to make your platform, one obscure blog of yours, the most prominent blog in the world, they can't do it. It's all left to them, and they, these guys sit at the epicenter of the internet economy, and they have already changed all of the ACs in terms of the way traditional marketing practice is done. And that also includes PR, by the way, by extension.
So are you affirming that there are differences in the practices and business models?
Oh yes. Oh yes. A whole lot of it in the last 10 years will focus more on the offline media. But these days now we're looking at possibilities within social communities. So you're doing community management. You are looking at storytelling using third parties. So you are looking at influencer marketing. You're looking at a whole lot of scenarios that never existed before. You now have much more, numbers of blogs, that are specialized and targeted than you probably had 10 years ago. So a whole lot has become more complex. At the same time, it's become, in terms of delivery of message, it's become much more dynamic than it used to be some 10 years ago.
Talking about dynamism, what do you think is the future of AI in PR, and would you say Nigerian professionals are par with, their colleagues all over the world?
AI is here to stay. I mean, it's the same way when people ask, what do you say about people sitting in a room and looking at a box called the television? Some 100 years ago, it would have been unimaginable. Today, we don't even take note of some of these developments anymore. Now, AI, artificial intelligence, has evolved over the years to being able to do so much, from telemedicine to even, predicting commercial outcomes, working, in certain spaces, to helping supply chain, to helping in medical sciences, and digital communication. Now, we have seen productions that are totally backed by AI. AI-backed music. We are going to start seeing animatics and video production that are purely AI-backed, so that it starts to take out the role of the producer, the role of the editor, because it is definitely going to be a reiteration of what happens in the real world anyway, that AI does, from an artificial perspective, from a machine perspective. So certainly AI is going to have total influence in the way PR campaigns are managed and in the way those campaigns are evaluated.
Okay, good. So how would you assess the issue of low capacity utilization and capacity building amongst younger generation of, PR practitioners?
I don't understand what you call low capacity utilization, because it's not particularly as if it's an industry that has installed physical capacity. No, on the contrary, what is palpable is that once the macroeconomy has a problem, it definitely would cascade down to the different sectors of the economy. So were you to ask me where is growth coming from right now, I'll say, well, I'm really at a loss, because I'm not quite sure that the so-called owners of the platforms upon which most technologies are deployed, which is the telecom, the providers, are actually making more money than they are making in the past. One, the operating input cost is soaring, and they're not able to pass the cost across to the consumer. So what then that means is that their revenues begin to shrink. And if that continues, then it means that, it will have impact on marketing, it will have impact on PR, and all of that. So everything is linked. And you know what they call a chain reaction. You snap this, and it begins to affect the others gradually.
Okay, great. So how would you describe the relationship between agencies and clients nowadays in this climate?
Clients are now they are less loyal than they used to be. Now, in terms of retention cycle, it is not as long as it used to be. Gone are the days when a Nigerian breweries will stay within sites, communication for over 30 years. I'm not quite sure that any agency will be that lucky going into the future, because the clients are just all shopping for value this time around. They're not looking at age-old relationships. So, to that extent, the dynamics of relationship between the agencies and the clients are changing. It's become more transaction-based than relationship-based. Is it a good thing? I am not quite sure it is. What it just shows is that the attention span of the client is becoming shorter and shorter and shorter. And his patience for mediocrity is also becoming shorter and shorter. So you try today, you fail tomorrow. Nobody thinks about how well you did yesterday, you are out. Unlike in the days of the past when relationship drove most of these outcomes.
Okay, great. So in the recently concluded Cannes Lions Festival, In the recently concluded Cannes Lions Festival, what do you think was responsible for the turnout of practitioners in the sector, and what lessons do you think we should take out of this?
I think this Cannes Lions thing is a good idea, and I think that Nigeria's participation and the fact that victory came is also some stripe on our shoulders. But needless to state that I'm not quite sure that the beauty of the, the peacock only relies on his thread, on his feather. Okay. So if all we look at is the feather of the peacock, a dead peacock will not flap the feather the same way a living one is doing. Okay. So I think that there's more to the industry than award winning. There's a need to have a much more sustainable industry that is growing year on year, rather than just have an industry that is winning awards, and if you look at the fundamentals, it is weak. It will be dead in no time, and what with it, all of the awards that it has been given. So my take is Cannes Lions is good, but the fundamentals of the industry should be taken more seriously so we can have a much more sustainable industry.
Okay, great. So I want to ask you for your expectations and projections for the PR sector under this new administration.
Well, I reckon that if this new administration is actually walking its talk, it holds to create a free market economy. In a free market economy, more private sector players take initiatives that are driven by marketing. Okay. So to that extent, we may see growth for the marketing industry. Now, we also see that even though we're at a point of economic turmoil, if they're able to get right the strategy and they stay consistent, then they will refocus the economy, and the consequence therefrom will be prosperity, And if prosperity were on the table, it means that marketing too will also prosper. So ultimately, I see what is happening in the mid-term has been in all of our favors, but in the short term has been a total disincentive to marketing, given the shrinking revenues of our clients. But I do believe that nothing lasts forever. So we're believing that after this darkness will come a glorious sunshine. Okay,
great. So tell us about the corporate philosophy of your agency.
Well, we hold three things there, and they call it the 3 C's, where we talk about curiosity, creativity, and so if we're confident about the moves we're making, okay, and those moves are in themselves creative, then it follows then that we will consistently innovate, okay, because we're driven first by what we're curious about what the market needs, and then we deliver it confidently. And ultimately, the gains will come. That's at the center and at the core of our philosophy. We believe that, the best time to plant a tree was yesterday. The next best time to plant a tree is now. Never stop innovating, even when you seem to be comfortable. You need to consistently disrupt your space. It's called creative destruction. So that before you die, you have renewed yourself over and over and over and over again. So the business keeps being so future-oriented that it is insulated from the dangers coming in the future.
And talking about the future, where do you see Market NG in the next 5, 10, 20 years?
I believe that Market NG's revenues will more than quadruple whatever it is that Precise Platform is doing. Okay. And there's no gainsaying that if we do it very well, it's in sync with the mood of the moment. We see that technology has disrupted other industries. So why not marketing? And if there are already market technologies that are already changing the way marketing is done, I already showed you some of those examples in my earlier presentation, then it follows then that if only players within the marketing space who understands the demands of the changes happening within that space are able to jump on the technology bandwagon, they will be in the best interest of everyone. So the industry will expand, its relevance, and in terms of its revenue base, the expansion will come. And that will be prosperity for every, player within the industry.
Okay, great. And on a last note, tell us about the webinar that is upcoming.
Yeah, essentially we want to educate the market. We want to show the possibilities that there can be with market technology, just the same way financial technology transformed the financial space. We believe that we need to teach and preach some of the things that we've spoken about in terms of convergence, in terms of prediction rather than intuition, in terms of being able to track and then precisely, note what is happening within the consumer space. That is the only time you can have effective marketing spend. It's not when you drive it believing that some platforms have so number. Even the newspapers you don't even understand their circulation figures, nor do you really understand the viewership of the television. But there are platforms that are much more scalable and are much more targeted, and that's what technology will point you at. And what that does for you is that it gets your marketing to be more effective, more cost effective, more like it, and they're more efficient. So for every naira that is deployed, you can calculate more precisely how it has affected you in terms of return on investment. That is the new name of the game in all of the industries, and marketing must play catch up.
Okay.
Very quickly.
Thank you very much for your time, and thank you for joining us on the program. And so we have been speaking with the Managing Director of Precise Platform. See you same time next week. I am Oluwabukola Omani.
Thank you, madam.